Hello and welcome to the Beauty Talk podcast. I'm Letitia Bishop, your host, a professional makeup artist and beauty writer. Thank you for coming and listening to an episode of the Beauty Talk. If you love learning all things beauty, please consider subscribing to the show and come and say hi to me on Instagram at Letitia Bishop. Now, today's topic might be a little bit controversial. We are talking about clean beauty, as you can see in the title, and these are just my opinions on clean beauty, so please take everything with a grain of salt. We all have our own skin journeys, and I too have gone down the path of thinking everything that will touch my skin will get into my bloodstream in 73 seconds. I had a full list of ingredients I was never going to use, but thankfully I found science. So the clean beauty, non-toxic, it has no definition. It's not rooted in science. And don't forget that the clean beauty industry is in fact that. It's an industry. So a few areas I don't like about the clean beauty industry is, one is the fear-mongering and the marketing behind the clean beauty industry. I think it's really unfair, and brands and retailers will have you believe that ingredients, certain categories of ingredients and a long list of ingredients will cause you cancer. It's not based on science. It's based on the founders' philosophies and beliefs of the brands and some scientific study papers that they have read and misinterpreted and stretched to their narrative and what they're selling, which is really naughty, I think. So many brands nowadays, they tell you a long list of what's not in it, but they're not necessarily saying what is in it. I mean, they do, the ingredients is on the back, but it's like, is there anything actually in here that is good and going to help for anti-aging and change my skin for the better? Because that's where I like to spend my money, in scientific researched ingredients that are proven and known to help your skin, right? But a lot of these brands are just harp on the fact that it doesn't have this, this, and this, and this. It's like, great, well, what's in it that you're going to do for me? I want to know that. So many brands are harp on the fact that it doesn't harm the environment. And we'll talk on that a little bit in a second. And, they're always like, this is clean, this is dirty, this is non-toxic, and this is toxic. This is nice, this is nasty. They have all of these lists, and Sephora have that as well, where they have their logo, which is Clean at Sephora logo, and it's just saying. So is Sephora saying that everything else in their store is dirty? That if it doesn't have this logo, it's like, so many of those ones that don't have that logo are the big brands, the high ticket price items, where a lot of their revenue would be coming from those brands. So I think that's a weird marketing thing to do, to like halve the store and say this is clean, this is dirty and bad, because that's just going to piss off all the other brands. I think if I was one of the other brands, I'd be annoyed by that. But it comes down to the fact that it is like this movement of what has led to the term, the tail wagging the dog, meaning the tail, meaning the consumers and their customers, is leading the dog, which is like the brands and the retailers. And they're actually now changing their formulas and listening to the consumers, which you might think, listening to consumers, that's a nice thing to do. Yes, it is, but it also isn't, because we're not cosmetic scientists. We don't know what you're meant to put in the products. I've listened to roundtables and conversations on cosmetic scientists and chemists saying that, new brands come to them, or they say, we need to reformulate this to take this out because nobody likes it anymore. And it's like, there was really nothing wrong with it to begin with. It's just coming from the consumers saying, we don't want this in it now, take it out. And the brands have to, unfortunately, succumb to this because they need to sell stock, right? So, but I mean, where is that going to lead us? Is that leading us to better products and yeah, I just feel like that's potentially down the line could be a little bit troublesome. And then let's not forget what they say, that these things are chemical free. Everything is a chemical. Water is a chemical. So don't forget that, okay? Everything is a chemical. And you know that this phrase is talked about a lot online in the science community in the beauty world, is everything is a chemical, water is a chemical, okay? Just let that sink in and think about that. When they say their products are chemical free, I wonder what you open up in the jar. What is it? There's chemicals in there regardless of where they come from. They're chemicals. Apples have an ingredients list of chemicals that makes up an apple. So, interesting. Another area that the green industry do not talk about and consider that much is the science and information and things like toxicologists, okay? So a toxicologist is somebody that will research a formula, an ingredient, and they will assess the levels of hazards or risks involved with that ingredient for the human body and for the application that the product is designed or potentially going to be used as, what it's going to be marketed for. And so you can't just say whether an ingredient is good or bad. It all depends on the exposure and the amount of risk and the exposure that we're going to be having, because you can drown from water. Poor water's getting a bad rap here. You can drown from water. So if you drink too much water, you can literally drown as well. So are you going to avoid all water? No. It's like saying that. So if this ingredient you deem as bad, those studies were done with a lot of that ingredient, but it's been tested and checked time and time again with big margins to make sure it is okay, like big rooms, 20% or more, where it's saying, oh, there's a gap, a buffer in case they make it with a buffer. Toxicologists, I listen to information about toxicologists and how they test products for beauty. So the ingredient has been checked for humans, and the toxicology, whether it's okay to put in this formula at this percentage and the amount and the way that the customer will use it, i.e. a tiny little pump on the face for 60 days, it's okay. If you were to drink a liter of it 3 times a day, yeah, it might not be good. So that's like, so it's the dose is, the dose is very important, and using it at this tiny amount can have great enhanced skin benefits, but bathing in it, maybe not good. But that's been worked out by scientists for us, so we don't have to think about it. You can be rest assured that those things are happening in big brands, established brands. I can't speak for these smaller brands. Another area that they harp on in the marketing of clean brands is the environment, and that they are better for the environment. I wouldn't say that's necessarily true. The brands, we're all just trying to do our best, right? I too care for the environment. I'm a vegetarian. I like to think one of the reasons why I'm a vegetarian is to help the environment as well as the animals and my health. But the environment is a big factor because the meat industry is really horrendous on the environment. And yeah, that's why I love being a vegetarian as well. So I don't get me wrong, I do care about the environment, but the clean beauty industry is not necessarily better for the environment, because where do those natural ingredients come from? The environment. So a lot of, studies have been shown now that with the uprise of the use of essential oils, the little bottles that we put into fuses, and there's whole MLM multi-level marketing companies that sell these essential oils for all health reasons. They've been showing that they're depleting the earth of certain minerals and herbs and flowers, because it takes a lot of these ingredients to make that little bottle essential oil, because you have to distill it and you have to get the oils out of it. So they're finding that this is becoming a bit of a problem, because you can't, and they want it to be organic and wild harvest and things like this, and we can't really replenish as fast as that. This is the demand has been happening for these ingredients. And there's a lot on it, and environments, you can't just say I'm going to put it in a glass packaging and cardboard box and now it's environmentally friendly. It's just not true. It's not black and white like that. Nothing is black and white in the world. You come to realize. I would love to have someone on the podcast that is an environmentalist person for the beauty industry. That I would find that really interesting, because glass is heavier, so therefore it takes up more emissions to ship it and send it in planes, right? So even just that thought, there is so much in it, whether something is actually environmentally friendly. So a lighter plastic packaging might actually be more environmentally friendly. I don't know. I'm not the expert on it, but it's not as black and white as putting it in a glass jar. That's my thoughts on that one. Another thing that is a positive note with this topic that I'm talking about is the rise of science educators. Okay, so thankfully, a few years ago, I discovered these people, and that's when I realized that things don't go into your body within 73 seconds. Things don't go into anything that you put on your skin does not go into your body within 73 seconds. Like I was led to believe when you listen to the clean green influencers. I learned that is just not how products are formulated. There's a thing called the Danone 400 or something, where ingredients and the molecules are never made small enough to enter the bloodstream in that time, and if they are considered a prescription drug. They need to be prescribed by a doctor because of the fact that they go into the bloodstream so fast. I'm not saying nothing will go into your bloodstream, but it doesn't go in like the green community has you believe. Our skin is an organ that protects us from the outside. If everything went in, it would be a mess. We're not sponges, like they also say. It's just not how it works. So, topical topical things that are prescribed to you by doctors, they're prescribed to you by doctors because they can enter, and you can receive medication and things through the skin, but there's a barrier to that has to be done by a doctor and given to you by a doctor. So normal skincare products, they just don't work like that. They're not under the 400 Danone molecule size, and they don't enter your bloodstream like that. Not quite like the green beauty will have you believe. Anyway, so back to the science educators. There is so many more fantastic people on Instagram and YouTube and Twitter and wherever you get your TikTok as well. I've seen them on there. That are, they're scientists, they're cosmetic researchers, they're chemists, that work in the beauty industry. They have been sitting back for too long and seeing all this false myths, false news, just falseness. And they're finally speaking up, and they're, producing amazing content for all of us to consume for free, might I add. And we can educate ourselves from these people that have studied and know what they're talking about, and they're putting the information out there for us to consume, and then we can have more information on the table, and then we can assess what we think ourselves. So being open to it and consuming some of that information would, it's beneficial, and you might just think, was all the stuff I was listening to before marketing? It might be. So I will list a few of those people down below that I love to listen to. There's a whole range of people that you can follow and consume and listen to that, they talk about the facts. A lot of their content takes a long time to research and put together, but they have the tools and the know-how to do that because they're scientists and they're researchers. So I just think that's amazing that we have access to that for free and can, listen to panels and conversations of these highly intelligent people all within the beauty industry that we can have for free and listen to. So don't let that slip by. Another area that is troublesome to me and a lot of other people in that are team science is that the green industry say that they are more safe for people with sensitive skin, and people with sensitive skin and impaired barriers often lean towards the green beauty industry thinking they're doing the right thing, which is really sweet but really harmful for their skin potentially, because these green beauty brands often are smaller, they have less R&D behind them, research and development, and a lot of the products have essential oils in them, which are really potent and powerful and not great for direct skin contact. They may smell nice in a diffuser, but putting them directly on your skin is really harmful. There's a lot more variables in them. They're just not ideal for people with sensitive skin. They're very potent. The green beauty will have you believe that natural is better for you, but poison ivy is natural and just could be picked from the ground, but you wouldn't want to rub that on your face. So let that sink in and think about that, and know that everything that is out there in nature is not great for us. There's a lot out there that's designed to kill us, right? So yeah, it's not all good for your skin. It might be better for your body or for your hair or something, but not directly for your face. And synthetic fragrance is much more safer and more tested, and just it has less variables. You don't have to be worried about it. If I was to be able to choose between a synthetic fragrance and fragrances made from essential oils for my face directly, I would definitely go down the synthetic fragrance side of things, because I know I can trust it more and I'm going to probably have a less of a reaction for it, right? Another ingredient that is often deemed as dirty and bad, toxic from the green community is petroleum and petroleum-based products. Petroleum is like Vaseline, okay? Think of it like that. Vaseline has been around for a long time, okay? It's safe. It's a humectant. It is designed for using in open wounds. It is extremely healing for wounds, chapped lips, elbows. It like puts a layer over your skin so you can't have transepidermal loss, so water can't escape, so it lets your skin be able to heal under there and boost the healing time. So it's good, it's not bad. Preservatives are another area that people are big no-nos, and parabens. Poor parabens get such a bad rap. But these studies are often from like rats that have been injected by a lot of parabens, and that's not necessarily how we use it as a human, right? Like I said with the toxicologist reports and these things, that the dose is what makes the poison, and we're not using them like these studies that the green community reference. So yeah, it's really sad that a lot of brands are having to remove it because of consumer demand. But we don't know what we're talking about, and they're using a lot of different preservatives that are less researched and are less irritating to our skin, so it's not great. And clean products that don't have any preservatives, I would be fearful of them. Keep my eye on those in my bathroom, because the bathroom is like perfect area for bacteria to grow. It's humid, it's wet, it's hot when we have showers, and bacteria loves that, and I don't want crazy growing bacteria on my face. So that's why I'm okay with preservatives. Yeah. It's people often see that their jars when they open, the natural products, they don't last as long, and they will say to you, oh, it's you can only use it for a few months, but that's because there's no preservatives in it, and they're scared that it's going to go off on your face. So, yeah, keep an eye out on them. Okay, that was coming to the end. Also, be mindful of why I'm also aware that the cosmetic industry, as in the general cosmetic industry, not the green one, could do better. And that is maybe potentially why this whole clean, world was born, because the regular beauty industry could be more transparent, and they're becoming more transparent. They're talking more about the science behind their products. They are hiring these science educators to talk to their consumers about their products and what is in them and why these ingredients are in their products. But that is probably why the green beauty industry became so popular, because the other side was not being transparent, but they are now, so that's great. But don't think because of this episode that I did a whole green beauty bashing episode. It's not that I don't like clean beauty and that you won't see me using clean beauty products. You most definitely will see me using clean beauty products, but it's not because they are clean beauty, and I use them despite of their marketing, and because I might like the product. I can still like the product, but I may not agree with all of their marketing terms, but I still might use some clean beauty products here and there. They're not normally always the ones that are hopefully going to tackle wrinkles and things and density and things, but they have some beautiful moisturizing ingredients, especially for the body and the hair and the shower. So you'll still see me use clean beauty products, so it's not like I won't use them. Thanks for listening, and that's the end of the episode, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now. Thanks for listening to the show. You can find details on everything I mentioned on the blog, The Beauty Talk. I'll leave a link below for this episode's post. While you're there, be sure to sign up for the newsletter so every episode is delivered directly into your inbox. That way you'll never miss an episode. I'd love to hear from you and see what you think of the episode. You can follow me on Instagram at Letitia Bishop, or I have a private Facebook group, which you'll also find a link for down below. Please don't forget to subscribe on any of the top podcasting platforms like Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. If you liked this show, please send some love by writing a review, and I'll see you in the next one.